Hello and welcome to Diabetes Connections in the News. I'm Stacey Sims, and every other Friday, I bring you a short episode with the top diabetes stories and headlines happening now. Our top story this week, researchers calling for an update of the current model of staging of type 1 diabetes. The current system was defined in 2015. In stage 1 of the disease, a patient does not yet have elevated blood sugar, but does have 2 or more of the autoantibodies. Stage 2, blood sugar begins to rise. Stage 3 adds more classic symptoms of the disease, frequent urination, weight loss, and fatigue. But these researchers are saying that the staging system requires more precision, especially because it determines if a patient is eligible to receive teplizumab, the only FDA-approved medication that can delay the onset of type 1. The current system does not include the patient's age or additional metabolic measures, and these researchers say those are important to consider. A product called InsuJet gets approval in Canada. This is made by New Gen Medical Devices, and InsuJet is a needle-free injection system. It's already approved for sale in 42 countries, not yet the U.S. The website says InsuJet's jet-injected fluid penetrates the skin through a small orifice of a special nozzle, creating a thin, high-pressure stream. They say the insulin is then deposited into the subcutaneous tissue where it is easily absorbed and acts faster. New studies saying individuals diagnosed with type 2 before the age of 50 may be at a higher risk of developing dementia later in life. These researchers say the risk is notably greater among adults with obesity. Now, type 2 is a known risk factor for dementia. Although the underlying mechanisms are not fully understood, they think some of the hallmarks of diabetes, high blood sugar, inflammation, may encourage the development of dementia in the brain. These researchers say the greater understanding of the connection between diabetes onset, obesity, and dementia may help inform better targeted interventions. Sanofi investing in a company developing a new drug to prevent hypoglycemia. We reported on Zuccara Therapies back in 2025. They've been moving ahead with a drug called ZT01. The idea here is to prevent low blood sugar by fixing how the body normally fights it. In people without diabetes, glucagon is released to raise blood sugar when it gets too low. But for people with insulin-dependent diabetes like type 1, this process doesn't really work well because another hormone, SST, blocks the glucagon from being released. The ZT01 works by blocking the effects of that SST hormone and allows the body to release more glucagon when it's needed. Embecta is out of the insulin patch pump business just months after getting the okay from the FDA. Embecta got approval in September. The device indicated for people with type 1 or type 2 had a 300-unit insulin reservoir, but it was what they now call an open-loop patch pump where the user manually controlled insulin delivery. They wanted to develop a closed-loop version, but decided it would be just too expensive to get there in what is rapidly becoming a crowded marketplace. Insulet received FDA clearance for its Omnipod 5 patch pump for type 2 in August. And Omnipod 5 is now compatible with the Freestyle Libre 2 Plus. The company says the recent development, quote, makes Omnipod 5 the most connected tubeless AID system in the United States. It's already compatible with Dexcom's G6 and G7 CGMs. A new study involving 11 clinical centers across the U.S. aims to uncover how type 1 impacts brain health and cognitive function in children. This is a 5-year study to explore critical questions about how environmental, lifestyle, social, and clinical factors affect brain development during childhood, a period crucial for cognitive growth. Dexcom is looking to partner with smart ring company Oura. Originally launched to track sleep patterns, the latest Oura technology collects more than 20 biometrics ranging from heart rate and activity to sleep and body temperature monitoring. The companies say the new partnership is intended to, quote, provide users with seamless integration between the two ecosystems so shared users can track their glucose levels and understand the impact of behaviors and biology on their metabolic health. Taking high doses of vitamin D won't lower an older person's odds for type 2 diabetes. New research followed data from other studies that had suggested people with especially low levels of vitamin D might face a higher risk for diabetes. This was true for people who were already pre-diabetic. To follow up, researchers in Finland randomly assigned 2,300 people aged 60 or older to receive either a placebo or up to 80 micrograms of vitamin D per day for 5 years. At the end of the study, no significant differences in the rate at which people developed type 2 diabetes. They also saw no benefit on blood sugar or insulin levels or on weight. And finally, big congrats to author Clare Edge, recent guest on the podcast. Her book, Accidental Demons, is featured in People magazine's top 10 book gift suggestions for kids this year. Here's how People describes this book. Bernadette Crowley, also known as Burr, comes from a long line of witches. When Burr is diagnosed with diabetes, however, she learns that every time she tests her blood sugar, demons accidentally slip into the human dimension, and it's up to Burr and her sister Maeve to stop them. They say this fantastical book is a great escape for young readers over the holiday break. Congratulations to Claire. I'm going to link up the interview again, so if you haven't listened to it, it will be part of this In the News episode. And that's it for In the News. Thanks for listening. I'm Stacey Sims. I'll see you back here soon. Until then, be kind to yourself.
Diabetes Connections is a production of Stacey Sims Media. All rights reserved, all wrongs avenged.